New doors opened up for Lebanon on Tuesday after the country's president, Joseph Aoun, met with President Trump in the Oval Office, a first for any Lebanese head of state since 2009. President Trump stated that the country has been mistreated for a very long time and pledged that America will now step in to support it. In a post later on X, 47 announced that he has directed his administration to allow all U.S. airline carriers to fly directly to Lebanon so that Americans can easily visit this beautiful land, marking a first for these two countries in 40 years.
It's a great pleasure to be with the President of Lebanon. He's highly respected in his country and actually long beyond his country. We've spoken previously on numerous occasions through representatives, and the relationship is very good. I think that Lebanon has been a very mistreated country for a long period of time. It's an amazing group of people, professors, doctors, lawyers, great intellects, and it's been hit hard for many, many decades, really. It's been hit very, very hard. And yet I have people that live in Lebanon, people that are parents of friends of mine, in many cases, and they would never leave. They would not leave under any circumstance. They love it. They love the country. And it's probably a dangerous place in a lot of ways, but they live in areas, they say, we hear bombs going off all the time, but we want to live in Lebanon. They love the country. Very smart people, very successful people, and they live there. But it's been a country of great intellect, great intellectuals. They still love it. They want to be there. And we're going to help it. We're going to help it a lot. So it's an honor to have the President and your representatives here. We've already met a couple of times, and we've had some good meetings. And we are going to solve a lot of problems. We've already solved some of them for Lebanon. As you know, there's a Hezbollah problem, but we've done some things that I think the world will take notice. Again, it's been a very badly treated place and country, and we're going to have it properly treated and treated with respect that it deserves. And Mr. President, it's an honor having you. Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
And striking just the right chord, President Aoun kicked off their meeting to a great start, noting the honor it was for him to finally meet President Trump. The Lebanese head of state emphasized his appreciation for the Trump administration's efforts in helping Lebanon with reaching a framework to end the state of hostility with the nation of Israel.
Thank you
I've
very
been
much.
looking forward to this visit for a long time.
Thank you very much.
Meeting such a great president like yourself.
Well, that's a very nice thing. See, he knows how to get to me. He can have anything. Now he can have anything. Would you like to say something?
Now, really, I would like to thank President Trump, really, and his team for the historic visit and for the historic achievement that we did together by signing the framework with the ultimate objective of ending the state of hostility between Lebanon and Israel forever. I think, Mr. President, this will be your legacy. Together, we'll be able to achieve this objective. It's about time for Lebanon and for the whole region to be stable and secure. And I know your vision is peace, your vision is stability, and I think my vision coincides with your vision. And together, I think we will be able to achieve and to score success in that regard.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. And you have tremendous spirit on your side. You have people that love that country, and they're going to make it work.
We're going to make it work.
Right. Thank you very much.
Mr. President.
And shifting the focus to the Middle East, President Trump commented on the situation with Iran, saying that they are desperately trying to make a deal. POTUS emphasized that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, adding that the US is degrading them in a way that no one thought is possible.
There are no signs that Iran is ready to stop fighting. So what is the plan? Is the plan
How
to
would
just
you
keep
know
bombing
if
until
how would
they
you
give
know
up?
if there are no signs? What, you know something that I don't know?
Well, they continue to attack our allies.
But
and
you
kill
don't know what
Americans.
the dialogue is behind the scenes, that they want to meet desperately to try and end it. because they're getting decimated. You don't get that when you listen to your fake station, but you don't know. You don't know anything.
So talks are
You know
still
something that I
possible,
don't
likely?
know. Do you know something I don't know?
Well, tell us.
I will tell you, they want to desperately meet, and until they're ready to meet in a meaningful way, we have no interest in even.
So the bottom
Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Very simple. It's a very simple dictum. They cannot have a nuclear weapon, and they won't have. They're not going to. They have no chance of having a nuclear weapon. And as far as Iran is concerned, I'll let Pete maybe say a couple of words, but we are doing very well. We are degrading them at levels that nobody thought was possible. They're being degraded really so seriously. They did slip something through in Jordan, and if we had other operators, would not happened, unfortunately. But because we have the best equipment in the world, we've stopped almost everything. But when you let other people do your job, with the United States, we let other people do the job, and sometimes it doesn't work out so well. But we're going to be going and paying our respects at Dover. Pete, would you like to say just how we're doing, generally speaking?
Well, it'll be an honor as well to join you at Dover to recognize these incredible Americans who committed to the cause just like you are. Something no president's been willing to do. 47 years, they build up a conventional capability like the North Koreans did. Remember, that's how North Korea made their way to a bomb. So much weaponry that no one was willing to stand up to them. President Trump was, and he continues to this day. Iran's been given every opportunity to negotiate, to show that they're reasonable on the Strait of Hormuz. But if they're going to shoot at commercial shipping, then we're going to hit them, as the president said, 10 times harder, which every night we're degrading them further and further. They can talk, otherwise they can deal with the War Department, and we're prepared.
And the blockade is up and fully, it's, nobody gets through. Nobody gets through the blockade. It's like a steel wall.
As tensions continue to mount between the two nations, multiple reports confirm Iranian-linked attacks on commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. Western shipping companies are offering substantial amounts to incentivize their crews daring to transit the strait. CENTCOM reported on X as of Tuesday, the US naval blockade against Iran have redirected 8 commercial vessels and disabled 1 to fully enforce the blockade. And addressing the rumors of a possible Red Sea blockade by the Houthi rebels, President Trump, unfazed, stated that if something happens, they will take care of it.
What is your level of concern of a blockade of the Red Sea by the Houthi rebels, opening up another front?
Well, we'll have to see what happens. So far, it hasn't happened, might happen. But we take care of things. If something like that happens, we take care of it. We've done that with the Houthis before, and we haven't heard from them in a while since we did what we did originally. That was about 45 days of very powerful action we took against the Houthis. And we've had no problem with the Houthis. They've had no problem with us for a long period of time, including during this conflict. I think that if there is something like that, we'll just have to take care of business.
Stay tuned to any of our Loveworld networks to stay updated with all the latest breaking news. And now moving on to more updates from around the globe. America has responded to the latest announcement by Nicaraguan President Daniel Ortega, who has ended future elections in the country. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, in a post on X, made it very clear that the US will not stand by as the regime's dictatorship deepens repression and manufactures instability that threatens US national security. Rubio further stated that Ortega's pledge to abolish elections in Nicaragua proves his cowardice and fear of the people's will. President Trump announced an additional 50% tax on a list of Canadian imports, ranging from wine and dairy to cement and hockey sticks. The move stems from a back-and-forth tariff feud between the two countries, in response to which Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney stated that he spoke with President Trump and both leaders agreed to intensify negotiations in the coming weeks. Responding to questions from the press regarding dollar-for-dollar tariffs, Carney stated that the objective is to get a comprehensive agreement that benefits both countries, that's consistent with the Canada-United States-Mexico agreement.
As many of you know, yesterday the United States announced the intention in 30 days, to launch the latest, what is a series of trade actions against Canada in violation of our agreement, CUSMA, with the United States and Mexico. And I want to put this in a bit of perspective, then answer a couple questions. The first is that in response to these actions, this began over 18 months ago. Canadians from coast to coast to coast have stood together. The federal government, provincial government, labor, business, Canadians themselves, uniting, focusing on what we can control, building strength here at home, supporting each other, buying Canadian, and diversifying partnerships abroad. We've signed more than 20 economic and security partnerships internationally. Investments picking up, machinery and equipment's picking up, economy's picking up. We're growing jobs at twice the rate in the United States, with the fastest growth in foreign direct investment, investor confidence in Canada in over 2 decades, twice the rate of other countries. In the G7, we're projected to have the second fastest growth in the G7, not just this year, but next year going forward. So the country is stronger. We're stronger because we're united, and we will remain united. I will be speaking with the premiers later this afternoon. I'll be meeting with them tomorrow. Minister LeBlanc will convene the Canada-U.S. Advisory Council later this afternoon. Earlier this morning, and I would say as well that throughout this time we have made a series of comprehensive and detailed proposals about how to modernize CUSMA, recognizing the transition that the U.S. is underway in the international, all its trading relationships, including with Canada and Mexico. I spoke with President Trump earlier this morning. We agreed to intensify negotiations in the coming weeks, and the team and myself look forward to doing that. As always, Canadians, governments, business, labor will stand together to build Canada strong and to have a trading relationship with our North American partners that benefits everyone.
President Trump stated that the added tariff is not as a result of the wildfires in Canada, but the country's behavior to American farmers and people, adding that Ottawa has been very tough on U.S. citizens over the years.
Canada tariffs. One, are those a response to the wildfires in?
No. That's separate. We're looking at that separately.
And what, is there anything?
It's only a response to the way they've treated our farmers and our people. Yeah. Canada's been very, very tough on us over the years, for many years, and no other president's done anything about it. I love Canada. I love the people of Canada. Many friends that live in Canada, but their leadership from Trudeau to the current leadership, I mean, in all fairness to them, they need us to survive. Without us, there's no way they can survive. So, but they've been very, very tough over a period of the last 50 years, actually.
Tensions are building in Hungary after the newly elected Prime Minister Peter Magyar forced the president's hand in signing off on his own resignation over the weekend. On Tuesday, prosecutors and tax authority investigators arrived unannounced at the data center hosting the opposition Fidesz party's servers to seize its communications and databases. The action is motivated over alleged embezzlement claims involving the so-called misuse of roughly $53 million in grants from the National Cultural Fund during the previous government's term. Fidesz described the raid as an unprecedented move, calling it a first since the end of the communist era in 1990. And next up, we'll be going for a short break. Stay with us as we bring you more updates from around the globe.
King's Comfort Conference online conferencing platform that allows you to have up to 1,000 users. All you need is an internet connection, and with our low data consumption, this is easier than ever. And a device, whether it's an iPhone, an Android, or you just have a laptop, you can join your King's Conference meeting. Jump on a call with friends and loved ones and use our emoji reaction to have the best time online. Take your work anywhere with King's Conference. Whether you're working from home, working in a coffee shop, or even on a beach or in the park, stay connected to all of your work meetings using King's Conference. Use our scheduling system to make sure you never miss a meeting again. You can invite other KingShut users to your meeting and they'll receive a notification in their inbox. Also, you have all of your meetings in one place with King's Conference. Whether it's a meeting you've been invited to or one that you've scheduled yourself, they're all listed out for you so you'll never miss a meeting again. Go to kingsconference.app and schedule your first meeting today. King's Conference. Stay connected.
The UK's new Prime Minister Andy Burnham chaired his first cabinet meeting on Tuesday at number 10 Downing Street. He described his administration as a cost-of-living government and emphasised immediate priorities such as easing household expenses and delivering a sense that help is on the way for struggling families. The meeting followed a significant cabinet shake-up, with Burnham purging several Starmer loyalists to appoint allies. Key changes included the replacement of Rachel Reeves as Chancellor, assigning John Healey the new role. While the establishment's effort to portray Burnham as the saviour of the Labour Party is ongoing, critics remain sceptical of the change, stating that nothing in essence has changed and that they are trying to gaslight the public into thinking Burnham is competent.
Removing VAT from household electricity bills. It's not everything, but it shows our determination to do something about people's living standards, and it kind of points the way for further measures that we hope to take that pressure off people. But also it comes with reprioritisation, and you'll have seen what I've said about digital ID. In these times in which we're living, we have to take a really hard look at what our priorities are, and if we're to deliver on the cost of living and reducing the pressure, then we've got to be prepared to reprioritise. We've got to show fiscal discipline. We've got to show that our commitment to the fiscal rules is real, and we're prepared to make difficult decisions in relation to that.
On Tuesday, the defence ministers of the UK, Italy, Japan and Canada met in London, where they announced that Ottawa has joined the Global Combat Air Programme, a trilateral military development partnership, as its first observer nation. The new status means that Canada will be provided with enhanced insight into GCAP's governance, capabilities, industrial framework, security requirements, and wider partnering opportunities, without a decision-making role at this stage. It is described as a step towards strengthening cooperation among like-minded partners.
We have a responsibility, I think, at the Ministry of Defence to demonstrate that every penny of taxpayer money that's invested in defence is necessary and well spent. To show that we understand the sacrifices that involves from other government departments in terms of opportunity costs of other things we might fund, but also to taxpayers, whether individuals or businesses that are feeling hard pressed. We don't take the contribution they make lightly, and we don't make this ask of the country lightly either. But as I set out in my opening remarks, it is absolutely critical against the backdrop of both the enormous geopolitical instability we see today and the changing and evolving nature of threats to this country and our allies, that we are able to maximise our deterrence to prevent conflict, and also to make sure that should deterrence fails, that we are ready and capable of acting as a nation and with allies to defend our citizens, our interests and our values. So I think the commitment of this government is clear. The opportunities for this country are enormous. Investment in defence is precisely that. It is not simply investing in our defence, it's investing in jobs, it's investing in opportunities, and it's investing right across the length and breadth of the land. And it's also an opportunity for us, as we've seen so many times before when it comes to defence innovation, to make sure that we are, as a country, as well as with allies, pushing right up against the frontier of innovation, showing what's possible, and then diffusing that technology throughout defence, but also throughout the wider economy and wider society for the betterment of humanity. So there's clear vision, there's clear commitment, and also, I hope, an unequivocal message to those who would threaten us, as well as an unequivocal message to our allies too, that this country that makes commitments to our allies sticks by those commitments. Those commitments are clear, and we will stick by them. Thank you.
It is day 3 of the ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting in the Philippines, where ministers from all 10 member states are in attendance, together with external partners from countries such as the United States, China, Japan, Russia, and Canada. Leaders from the Association of Southeast Asian Nations issued statements of serious concern over the rapidly evolving situation in the Middle East, particularly the renewed hostilities. Discussions are also centered around strengthening regional trade, food and energy security, economic instability, and maritime and air transport route disruptions. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio addressed the topic on everyone's mind, stating that the United States is always committed to diplomacy and that they are open-minded and always willing to engage in negotiated settlements of differences, adding that it remains true in the case of Iran.
As President Trump stated last year at the leaders meeting, the U.S.-ASEAN at the summit, we're with ASEAN 100%. This is the primary mechanism by which we engage the region, and you will continue to see our commitment to it at the highest levels, including with our ambassador who recently came on board, and in addition to our ambassador here in the host country, who, by the way, have done a phenomenal job. Thank you for hosting us. We've fallen in love with your country. I visited here many years ago as a senator, but it's so much more fun to visit as a Secretary of State. But we appreciate that. I know how much work goes into putting one of these on, and you've done a phenomenal job, and we thank you. And before we get into the other topics, I know there's an area that's on everyone's mind, and it's what's occurring in the Middle East. And I just want to reiterate once again, the United States is always committed to diplomacy. We are open-minded and always willing to engage in negotiated settlements of differences. And that remains true in the case of Iran. Unfortunately, as of now, despite their direct outreaches, and Iran has been reaching out to the United States both directly and indirectly to engage in talks about settling the differences with regards to what's happening in that part of the world. Unfortunately, so far, even though we have reached agreements, they have not kept their commitments. And as the President stated earlier today, I guess, today Washington time, yesterday our time here now, the problem we're having right now is that they're not serious about talks. If they're serious, we're serious. If they're not, then we will do what is necessary to protect that, our interest and also the interest of our allies. At its core, it's very simple. Iran demands the right, which they do not have under any existing legal mechanism, to control the transit of traffic through the Straits of Hormuz. This is an international waterway. And of all the regions in the world, the one I don't need to teach about the importance of freedom of navigation in international waterways, it is this region. And if we create a precedent in the Middle East where a nation state can decide that they are going to control an international waterway, charge a toll, and if you don't pay them, blow up your ships, we have created a very dangerous precedent which will repeat itself in other parts of the world, including in this region.
In an eyebrow-raising announcement, Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif announced on Tuesday the launch of an AI-powered digital governance tracking and decision-making system. It aims to digitize and modernize governance processes, replacing traditional paper-based file handling with digital tracking, real-time monitoring, and AI-supported decision-making. The Prime Minister clearly stated in his office yesterday that going forward, everything will be discussed through this mechanism. Critics vocalized their reservations about the lack of transparency, questioning how data will be protected, who has access, and whether independent oversight exists, citing past audio leaks and government surveillance scandals as reasons for their skepticism.
From today onwards, I will not expect any of you in my office with a file in your hand. Everything will be discussed through this mechanism. Please make it very clear in your minds and that this is the mode and the system we are going to work through from today onwards.
And now let's take a recap of today's headlines. President Trump welcomes Lebanese president to the Oval Office in a landmark meeting.
It's a great pleasure to be with the president of Lebanon. He's highly respected in his country and actually long beyond his country. We've spoken previously on numerous occasions through representatives, and the relationship is very good.
Hungary's political tensions are escalating after prosecutors raided the opposition Fidesz party's servers. UK Prime Minister chairs his first cabinet meeting, rebranding Labour as a cost-of-living government.
Removing VAT from household electricity bills. It's not everything, but it shows our determination.
Pakistan's Prime Minister launches an AI-powered governance system to replace paper files with digital tracking and AI decision-making.
From today onwards, I will not expect any of you in my office with a file in your hand. Everything will be discussed through this mechanism. Please make it very clear in your minds.
And that's all from us for today. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Melissa Negrini, reporting for the Love World Networks.